Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm excited to be doing this video. I want to tell you a little bit about me. I think it's so important to know who you allow to have influence over you, who you give your ear to. It's funny because in psychiatry, I was taught to have boundaries. A lot of mental health professionals don't share things about themselves. And I've always thought that that was interesting. Now, I know you just shouldn't share everything, right? But I've always wondered why was there such an emphasis on not sharing personal views? I mean, I get it. You don't want to influence who you're taking care of too much. You want them to make informed decisions. But also there's so much evidence to support how connectedness is therapeutic. I mean, look at the research on cultural competency. Look at the research that shows that women who are taken care of, black women who are taken care of by black OB-GYNs have less mortality rates, lower mortality rates. I mean, there's just something about connectedness. There's something about having a space with someone who's taking care of you, but also who sees you, and knowing that that person sees you. And how do you have that sense of knowing? Well, there's something that's been shared that makes you feel like, you know what, this person gets it. Because it's not just that the person looks like you. No, there's some moments of sharing some level of personal information that'll make you feel more comfortable. So in my practice and when I'm with individuals, I do share some things. Now there's a spectrum, right? Extremely personal, not so personal, but I do share personal experiences as a part of my teaching strategy, as a part of my counseling strategy. And so yeah, I think it's very important to understand who is in front of you. Now, you may not know everything about them, but if you are investing in their services, and if you're investing especially in a space like this where, I mean, I'm endeavoring to combine spiritual and physical and emotional and all the things, and these are very intimate entities. So I want you to know who I am. You're coming to my channel, you're watching my stuff. I thank God for some of you who's been supporting me on my other platforms. So that Doctor with Faith on Instagram. If you haven't followed me already, then follow me. But I want to tell you a little bit about me. And the thing about people is that they also evolve. And so I'm grateful that the last time I did an introduction on maybe one of my platforms, hey, I've evolved in many areas. And yeah, but I've always had this one view. It's hard to like just describe me. It's hard for me to tell somebody about me. I remember that question that all the pre-med folks advised me to prepare for on interviews. Like, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. I mean, there's so much. I remember in one of my interviews, I think I asked the interviewer, what do you want to know? Like, can you just make it easy? Because I can literally tell you about me for hours and hours. So what is it that you want to know about me? But anyways, y'all, my most proud thing and attribute, component of my identity is that I'm a daughter of the Most High. Like, I love the Lord with my whole heart. He is everything to me, which is why, yeah, we're bridging faith and medicine, right? The Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, God, Abba. I love the Lord. I serve him in every way that I can. I literally see my life as a service unto him. And so I have to put him first, because everything else I do flows from my identity in him. I literally believe that the Bible is true. I was created in his image. And so when somebody asks me to tell them about me, it's hard for me not to mention God, because literally I'm a reflection of him. But yeah, I love the Lord. I think that it's so amazing to be able to have the heart of the Lord, and I believe I carry the heart of God. That's something that I've had to understand about myself, and that's why he sent me to psychiatry. So I'm a psychiatrist. I practice psychiatry. I'm a mental health physician. I went to medical school. Now there's a difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist. I went to medical school. I'm a graduate of the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston, Texas. So I have an MD, a medical degree, and y'all, yeah, as I was entering my final year in medical school, that was when the Lord told me that he wanted me to go into psychiatry. And goodness, that was one of the most unsettled times in my life, because I was stepping into a place where I had to forsake what I wanted for myself. A lot of you might know this if you follow me on Instagram, but I was convinced that I was going to be an OB-GYN, an obstetrician gynecologist. I loved working with women, and I love delivering babies. I love the feeling and the atmosphere of something being birthed out. And so I was certain that I was going to be an OB-GYN, even though I didn't actually enjoy my rotation all that much. I still loved the concept. One of my first mentors was an OB-GYN. She was cool, so I wanted to be like her. I mean, there was so many different aspects of the field that I was committed to. And I was driving one day. I don't know where I was coming from. I know I was coming from Houston to go back to school. But I remember driving one day and the Lord dropped something in my spirit. He said, I'm not calling you to deliver physical babies. I'm going to have you birth things out. But I need you in a career that you can birth things out spiritually. I'm going to have you push babies out. I'm going to have you sometimes do surgery, but it's not going to be like you think. And I didn't know exactly what the Lord meant by that, because it wasn't then that he told me to go into psychiatry. No, it was another time when I was just minding my business, getting my nails done, because that was something that I love to do, to treat myself. I still do. I was minding my business at the nail shop, and there was this gentleman. He was of Asian descent. I didn't know he was the owner, but he came and he started talking to me. He was actually the owner, asked me how I was doing, asked me what I was doing in town. I told him I was in medicine, I was in medical school. And he said, well, do you know what you're going to do with your life? I said, you know what? I'm going to be an OB-GYN. I love OB-GYN. And I just started talking. And he said, you know what we need? He said, we really are filled. He's like, the world really needs more Christian psychiatrists. And he was like, oh, by the way, I'm a chaplain. So he just started talking about Christian psychiatry. And, I wasn't really, I was being nice, but I wasn't really listening to him for real, because I was like, okay, what that have to do with me? And so I was being nice since, I found out he was the owner and I was frequenting his business and he was a nice dude. But I was like, okay, what that has to do with me? And so I was just listening. And it was a few days after that, I was again minding my business alone. And the Spirit of the Lord said, I'm calling you into psychiatry. I'm calling you into psychiatry. I need you to go there. And I was like, oh my goodness, maybe I'm hearing the Lord wrong. And from that moment on, I was actually getting prepared to start interviewing, right? I had already put my applications in and prepared myself to be an OB-GYN. But he said, I need you to go into psychiatry. I was unsettled because I was like, how am I going to go into psychiatry? Literally, you got a plan for the specialties that you go in. I had a plan, Lord. I got my recs, got my letter of recommendations in OB-GYN. I've done my active internship in OB-GYN. Like, I've done nothing to prepare for this field. And the Lord just started telling me, reminding me how it works. Whenever he gives direction, there's always provision. So it really worked so smoothly. When I committed to psychiatry and told the Lord yes, suddenly I was not uneasy. I could rest again. But I was, interested to see what that would look like. So did my training, found out exactly why God called me to the field. He opened my eyes in many ways, gave me very heavy burdens. And when I say I have the heart of the Lord, like he began to mold me to where, yeah, I grieved when he grieves. I began to be compassionate, much like they talk about Jesus having compassion for people. Yeah, he just began to really take some coverings or veils off of my eyes and give me more understanding about the mind and the spirit. And it's just been phenomenal. I'm yet still learning. I'm a forever student, because I believe we're just gonna learn about the things of God forever. I just believe that. I don't think anybody has it all together except God himself. So he's teaching me, he's showing me. But y'all, I'm a woman who just wants to please God. I look at life as my ministry. The ministry that God has given me is that of a teacher, a counselor. I do these things daily in my role as a physician. He's given me so much, but one of my biggest blessings so far here is actually he's allowed me to be a mother. So I'm a mother. Y'all who follow me on Instagram, you might have seen my son before. I have a 4-year-old son. He is such a blessing. He's the best thing that came out of this period in my life when I was married. I was married naturally. And so also one thing that is unique about me is that I am so passionate not only about Christian mental health, but women's mental health. The Lord had to take me through a season of brokenness and restoration. Thank you, God. And restoration. And since then, he's shown me how so many women struggle with some of the same things that I struggled with. So many of the women have some of the same predisposing characteristics that I had. He's shown me so much about relationships and marriage and just growing up in wholeness. And so, yeah, I'm a teacher, especially of women, and I have dedicated myself to the Lord's vision for my life, which is helping women become whole. And so I'm also that. I'm also very family oriented. I have brothers. I'm the only girl. I love family. It's also one of my highest values. And I'm a friend. I have some friendships that I value so much. I love friendships. I've learned so much about that. So get ready to hear much about relationships on my channel. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm just me. I'm Dejanita. What else can I say? I'm Dejanita. I am not what I do. I am who I am. So my full-time job is being me, exactly how God created me. But occasionally, I'm working in hospitals, helping the sick recover. Occasionally, I'm coaching some folks. Occasionally, I'm teaching some folks. Occasionally, I'm proclaiming the gospel in much of what I do. Occasionally, I'm doing other things, but I'm me. All right. And so this channel will be a journey. Will be a journey with me. I will be doing my best to teach you what I know. I'll be talking about difficult things that you don't hear a lot of folks talk about. I'm not going to give you everything though, because a lot is too much for YouTube, okay? So I do have other availability to more knowledge. I'm teaching courses these days. I just released a course called Divorcing Anxiety, because y'all, after going through a divorce, I found out that there are so many other things that require divorce. So Divorcing Anxiety is my first course, y'all. So excited about all the ideas and the creative inventions that the Lord has released to me to begin to share with you. So look for me on my other platforms so that you could learn from me if you love YouTube. But yes, YouTube is going to be fun. We're going to talk about hard things. We're going to grow. We're going to learn about wellness, about wholeness, about how you can't separate. As a Christian, you can't separate spiritual health from mental health. They are merged. They're interconnected. And until we get both right, we won't be our healthiest. God called us to live healthy lives. So, y'all, that's a little bit about me. All right. I could talk way more about me, but just know that I very much love what I do, and this is such a gift to be able to have your attention. So thanks for watching this. Feel free to comment on some of the things you might want to know, some of the things you might want to know from Jesus loving psychiatrists, some of the hard things that you hear no one talk about. Feel free to comment, because I'm all about providing some solutions, and so I want to serve who the Lord has sent me, and through this platform He sent you here, and I want to serve you. So what are some things you want to hear from me? Feel free to drop that below. Like, subscribe, share. Love you all, and I look forward to doing the next video. Bye.